How to do y'all? Tables here. I wanted to do a video on the state of minions. Things are not good. Truthfully, things are not very good. I'm not really going to touch on the loot drama because enough people are already talking about that. It is what it is. We're not going to be able to change it. It's going to be up to GGG to make those changes. And it's more or less the same with minions. So minion survivability is pretty much it's at an all-time low. Right? I mean, you look at Carry and Golem, they nerfed the HP of the levels, and then they increased the base life, which wasn't enough. And then they nerfed the max life quality. Right? You get to keep the damage, but you lose the max life. That's pretty big. That's a lot. That's a lot of life. And when you factor in everything else, it adds quite a bit. Like everything adds up at the end of the day. Right. And so one of the biggest problems right now is arch nemesis. It's massively overtuned, right? The mods are insane. It is nice that they nerfed the HP from 3 mon and below. It's always a good thing. But the real problem is red maps, right? I mean, there was definitely a problem in white and yellow maps, specifically with like dot damage, like burning ground, caustic ground, things like that, that were they just literally melt all the minions. It's crazy. Now this helps. You get Indom Army, you get 83 max res. This in particular helps a lot with burning ground, caustic ground, especially if you're not going for caustic ground. It's only gonna, if you get the chaos wheel, that's the only thing that's gonna help caustic. If you don't take this and you're not getting any extra chaos res on your minions, caustic ground is gonna just absolutely put you in the ground, right? But the issue that a lot of people are reporting to me is that even with Indom Army, 83% max res armor, fizz reduction, we're looking at like 40k effective life, because we're taking the chaos wheel, so we get energy shield as life, or life as energy shield. Even with all this, and we're running 4% leech, they're still dying. They're still dying all the time. And I don't know if GGG's philosophy is that, they're expecting us to resummon our permanent minions on a more consistent basis. And they're tired of seeing permanent minions literally be tanky enough to where they are, in fact, permanent. But that doesn't really make sense to me because, like, things like Animate Guardian, those are truly meant to be 100% permanent if you invest in them correctly. Right. This nothing new. This has always been the case with AG. And then, you look at Gazi's video and like he can't take that AG any further. I'm pretty sure he said so himself. Like that is that thing is as tanky as it's gonna get. And he got melted in 2 seconds. And it's like, what are we supposed to do with this? Right. And so the state of minions right now is that permanent minions are, as far as I'm concerned, like they're still okay. Um but until some changes are made, especially with the amount of damage that's being thrown around and off of these arch nemesis rares, it's gonna be a difficult road for any minion player, right? And that's probably why if you look on PoE Ninja, right, there's like nobody playing minions, right? Like I think the highest played minion right now is SRS. Those are the smart people, right? Those are the intelligent people who you want your minions to die, or you don't care if they die because you can just resummon them, right? So you don't really have to worry about minion survivability other than your wall of flesh, right? Your zombies and specters and stuff like that. But like if you look at like carrying golem, animate weapon, like it is such a low percentage. I think it's like 0.5% of players, at least on PoE Ninja, that have made it on PoE Ninja, right? So I mean, we're talking a very, very, very low percentage. And don't get me wrong, I think permanent minions are doable. It's just going to be more annoying, and it's going to take time, and there's going to have to be workarounds, right? You're going to have to take so many more passives that are minion specified. Whereas before we could get away with not running Indom. We could get away with not running the Mastery. We could get away with not running the Chaos Wheel. Right, as long as our max res was max, that's all we cared about, and everything was gravy. Now you have to take all this stuff like just at a bare minimum. There's no other way to go about it. You have to take it. If you're running Necro, there may be a little bit of wiggle room just because Necro inherently has more minion life in their notables and their small notables and stuff like that. But even then, it's still prudent to take this stuff, right? This would in fact be 1% leech because the mastery, and that leaves you less points for minion damage. That leaves you less points for armor nodes, block nodes, right? Because we're primarily focused on block because we're we're on the right, excuse me, the left side of the tree. Mix in a little spell suppression when you can, but since that's been nerfed, and then you got shit like you got the freaking you got the bone ring, right? You got the new shield, right? But all those mods are suffixes, right? And you have to prio those. You have to prio those mods. You have to get the max life, right? Got to get the max res and minion damage. This one's debatable if you need it. So that leaves you 1 to 2 mods for any stats, resistances, max resistances, whatever, right? If you're lacking on minion res somewhere because you're not taking these nodes, then you have to pick it up here, which leaves you without raw stats. And it's the same thing on the ring, right? It's either fully invest in the minions and sacrifice character defense, or sacrifice the survivability of your minions in lieu of getting more character defense. And I just have a really big issue with this, right? Another thing that I hate is traditionally minions. I can't type. I'm sorry. I literally actually can't type. Minions were amazing for new players, right? This has always been the case, right? All the power was in the gems. A brand new player could come in, take a build, take it to fruition. Well, for the most part, they're still brand new players, but there's no weapons to upgrade. There's no fancy stuff. You just everything's in the gem, right? And it was easy for them to get defenses and just not feel like they're just fucking up constantly, right? It's hard to fuck up a minion build in 3.18. And now that's all been taken away. They're a lot less viable for new players. You have to invest, you have to know how to invest to get to a point. And people are doing that, and they're still not as powerful, which is another issue I have. Because in the patch notes, they said those that invest will be more powerful than before. Obviously that's not verbatim, but that was their intention, to take the power out of the gem and put it into the gear, so that those that invest will be, a fair bit more powerful than before. Well, tell that to everyone that's lost an AG this league. Tell that to Gazzy. That AG was insanely tanky. That is the literal definition of investing into a character, and he, it's quite frankly a slap in the face right now. So that's kind of my opinion on minions. As far as my build goes, I think the build is sound and it's solid. I think a lot of the issues lie within Nemesis. I think if you fix Nemesis, you fix the health, you fix the damage, a lot of this comes in line, right? Minions stop dying, things start becoming more enjoyable, and then at that point, you're still not getting loot, but at least your build fucking works, right? So, what do I think of the current meta? I think the meta, and I hate to say this, but like realistically, it's SRS. It's not golems. I'll tell you that much. It like once you get established with currency, I think that golems will be a little bit more meta, but that's only because Anima Stone is 3 fucking div, right? They dump this loot out, right? It's gone from the game. They've removed it. Nobody's getting drops. You know, I had to piecemeal my 80 chaos together, like 2 chaos at a time, and it was I hated it. I fucking hated it. And yet the community is still pricing the Anima Stone at 3 div. Why? Because they know that Golem builds can't fully come online until they have that jewel. So it's just fuck, dude. It just sucks all around, man. It just blows massive. It just sucks. Everything's sad. But I'm still having some fun. Uh I still want to work my build around this league, and I will make it work. Um, I just think permanent minions currently are in a weird transitionary spot. This is a new league with new currency, new gear for minions, and there's a lot of testing and a lot of work to be done. GGG needs to step it up on their end so we can start putting out some really amazing content for our minions. But you know, just as a whole, it's hard to go from never worrying about your minions dying to a snap of a finger where nothing is living anymore. And it's very whiplash. You know, the minion community's got a lot of whiplash right now. And it's just unfortunate to see minions go through this patch after patch after patch after patch. Right? It literally never ends. Um so that's what I think. 14 minutes long. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to talk this long, but I'm actually on my lunch break, so I'm gonna finish eating. I'm gonna throw this up on the YouTubes, and whether you agree or disagree with me, it's whatever. Throw down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the state of minions at the moment, because I'm genuinely interested to hear what you guys have to say. But this is my opinion. Love it or hate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Y'all take care of yourselves and be good.